A man walks into a room full of perfectly suitable women, kind, stable, everything he's supposed to want. Then she walks in, the one with secrets in her eyes, the one his mother warned him about, the one who promises both paradise and destruction with a single glance. There's a question that echoes through mythology, literature, and the quiet corridors of the human heart. It's a question men have asked themselves in moments of confusion, and a truth societies have tried to tame with warnings and moral tales. It's the enigma of the femme fatale, the fatal woman. She's the siren on the rocks, the mysterious woman in the film noir detective's office, the untamable spirit who promises both ecstasy and ruin. She is everything a man is taught he shouldn't want, yet the pull toward her feels irresistible, a magnetic force that defies logic, caution, and sometimes even self-preservation. But what if this fascination isn't really about her at all? Why are men so often fascinated by the very woman they're warned to stay away from? Here's the truth that will blow your mind. This attraction to the femme fatale isn't a mistake. It's a message from the deepest, most hidden part of a man's soul. The great psychoanalyst Carl Jung gave this hidden part a name. He called it the shadow. And the encounter with a woman who embodies this shadow, it's never an accident. It's a summons to discover the man you have not yet dared to become. When we try to understand this powerful pull, our modern, rational minds grab for the simplest explanations. It's just rebellion against the mundane, we tell ourselves. She's exciting. She's an adventure waiting to happen. Maybe we blame it on pure chemistry, that animal magnetism that bypasses higher thought. Or perhaps we frame it psychologically. I want to fix her broken pieces, or it reminds me of my complicated relationship with my mother. But here's the thing. These explanations aren't exactly wrong. They're just incomplete. They're ripples on the surface of a deep, dark ocean. They describe the what, but never truly touch the why. Saying this attraction is just a desire for novelty is like saying a starving man craves food only for its interesting flavor. It completely misses the fundamental, life-altering hunger driving the impulse. The truth is, this fascination rarely feels like a conscious choice, does it? It feels more like recognition, a sense of destiny, however dangerous that destiny might be. Men drawn into these dynamics often describe feeling like they're under a spell, hypnotized, as if they aren't acting, but being acted upon by a force much greater than themselves. That's because the fatal woman is a symbol. She is a living, breathing embodiment of a part of the man himself that has been lost, exiled, or denied. The attraction isn't a simple preference. It's the psyche's desperate attempt to become whole.
Section 2. The Jungian Lens, a Deeper Truth. Carl Jung, once Freud's protege before blazing his own revolutionary path, dedicated his life to mapping our inner world. He discovered that our psyche isn't just a container for personal memories and repressed urges. It's connected to something far grander, a collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of human experience expressed through universal patterns he called archetypes. Think of these archetypes, the hero, the wise old man, the mother, the trickster, as humanity's psychic software, shaping how we see the world, what we feel, and how we behave.
From Jung's perspective, the most powerful events in our lives, especially around love and attraction, are driven by these archetypal forces colliding like cosmic storms in our unconscious. The intense fascination with a bad woman, it's one of the most significant archetypal events a man can experience. It's a collision of two of the most powerful forces in the male psyche, the anima and the shadow. The anima is your inner feminine soul guide, the source of your capacity for relationship, intuition, creativity. The shadow is your psychological other side, where you've banished all the parts of yourself you've rejected or disowned. The pull of the femme fatale is the magnetic force of these two archetypes merging and projecting onto a single person. The attraction isn't about her, it's about your unconscious need to confront what she represents inside you. Section 3. The shadow self, the man you were taught not to be. Imagine you're born as a vast, untamed wilderness, full of wild forests, raging rivers, and soaring mountains. Raw, magnificent, alive. But from your earliest days, you're handed a blueprint and told to build a neat, orderly suburban garden instead. Be strong, but not aggressive. Be confident, but not arrogant. Be kind, but not vulnerable. Be respectable. Be predictable. Be safe. Every quality that doesn't fit into this manicured existence, your raw aggression, untamed passion, disruptive creativity, emotional chaos, radical freedom, it doesn't just disappear. It gets exiled, pushed into the dark, unvisited corners of your inner world. That forbidden territory, that's your shadow. For most men, the shadow holds a ton of suppressed emotion and vulnerability. From boyhood, we're taught to see sensitivity as weakness, to value stoic control above authentic feeling. This doesn't eliminate the emotions, it just forces them underground, where they exist in a raw, undeveloped, and often explosive state. Because we're terrified of what lurks in our shadow, we do two things: deny it exists in ourselves and project it onto others. We become fascinated or repulsed by people who openly live out the very traits we've locked in our own psychic basement. Enter the bad woman. She often lives unapologetically from the very places the good man has only visited in his darkest dreams. Her perceived badness is a direct reflection of what he has labeled bad in himself. The fascination he feels, it's the call of his own exiled self, whispering from her lips, "I am the part of you that you have forgotten, and I am real."
Section 4. The Anima, the soul's inner feminine. Here's something that might surprise you. Jung believed every man carries within him an inner feminine principle, the anima. She's not literally an inner woman, but rather your soul's guide, the bridge between your conscious ego and the mysteries of the unconscious. The anima represents all the so-called feminine qualities within you: deep feeling, intuition, tenderness, connection, creativity. As Jung beautifully put it, every man carries within him the eternal image of a woman, a definite feminine image. This inner image profoundly influences who you're drawn to in the real world, because you unconsciously seep women who resonate with your inner anima. But here's where it gets complicated. If your experiences with the feminine have been mostly negative, or if your culture aggressively devalues feminine qualities, your anima can become repressed and turn dark.
A man cut off from his anima often becomes rigid, overly rational, emotionally distant. He fears his own vulnerability, seeing it as a threat to his masculine identity. When the anima is repressed, she doesn't just disappear. She festers in the unconscious, often mixing with the shadow to create a negative anima, one that isn't nurturing and life-giving, but chaotic, dangerous, and unpredictable. The femme fatale, she's often the perfect incarnation of this untamed, shadowy anima. She represents a version of the feminine that isn't soft or compliant, but autonomous, powerful, and wild. She's terrifying precisely because she isn't defined by the man's needs or expectations. For a man who has repressed his own emotional and instinctual nature, she becomes the most frightening and alluring thing imaginable, the embodiment of his own unexplored soul.
Section 5. The fatal projection. When the shadow and anima collide. Now we reach the psychological alchemy that creates this irresistible and often destructive attraction. The process is called projection, and it's like throwing a movie onto a screen. When we have parts of ourselves we haven't acknowledged, we don't experience them as being inside us. Instead, we unconsciously project them out into the world and see them in other people. This projection creates an instant, powerful bond that feels like fate, obsession, or love at first sight. The femme fatale becomes the ultimate screen for a man's most powerful projections. He sees her danger, her freedom, her mystery, her intensity, and these are the very qualities of his own repressed shadow and untamed anima. This is why the connection feels so absolute. It's not just one person meeting another. It's an ego colliding with its own soul and shadow. He feels like she completes him because she literally embodies the missing pieces of his conscious personality. But here's the trap. This integration is an illusion. It depends entirely on her presence. Because the real inner work hasn't happened, he needs her to carry these parts of himself for him. This creates a desperate dependency, an addiction to the woman who holds the keys to his locked-away self. He doesn't truly love her. He loves the feeling of wholeness her presence gives him. And that's a recipe for obsession, control, and ultimately, destruction. Section 6. Echoes in Myth and Film. The Archetype Made Manifest. This drama isn't new. It's one of humanity's oldest stories, playing out across cultures and centuries. Think of Circe from Homer's Odyssey. She's the ultimate ancient femme fatale, mysterious, powerful, sexually autonomous, living outside society's bounds. She famously turns Odysseus's men into pigs, symbolically reducing them to their base instincts. But Odysseus survives their encounter because he receives divine guidance, a symbol of conscious awareness. In classic film noir, this archetype crystallized in the rain-slicked streets and shadow-drenched doorways. Phyllis Dietrichson from Double Indemnity is the quintessential example. When insurance salesman Walter Neff walks into her life, she becomes the screen for his shadow. He's a man of rules with a hidden rebellious streak. She gives that darkness a voice, inviting it out to play. Their instant connection is a conspiracy of shadows. He doesn't fall for her. He falls into the unlived criminal potential within himself that she represents. Even today, look at Amy Dunn from Gone Girl. She's the ultimate modern femme fatale, brilliant, beautiful, and masterfully weaponizing society's narratives. She transforms from Nick's projection of the idealized cool girl into a monstrous reflection of his own deceit, passivity, and suppressed rage. In all these stories, the femme fatale isn't just a villain. She's a psychological agent of transformation. She's the crisis that forces the hero to confront the parts of himself he's been running from.
Section 7. The message in the magnetism. A call to wholeness. So what does this mean for you? How do you handle this magnetic pull when it shows up in your life? First, stop seeing it as a flaw or moral failing. See it as a message, a profound communication from your unconscious. That powerful attraction to a woman you perceive as dangerous is your shadow asking for attention. It's your anima seeking a voice. Ask yourself, what does she represent that I've denied in myself? Her freedom? Her emotional honesty? Her courage to live by her own rules? Her unapologetic sensuality? The qualities that fascinate you in her are the very qualities your psyche is urging you to develop. The goal isn't to possess her, it's to possess those qualities for yourself. This is Jung's central process of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming your authentic self by integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of your psyche. It means facing your shadow, acknowledging it, and channeling its energy constructively. It means withdrawing your Anima projection and cultivating that relationship with your own soul. This is challenging work. It takes immense courage to embrace the parts of yourself you've labeled unacceptable. The temptation is to stay in the projection, to live out the drama externally. But that path only leads to repeating the same cycles of obsession and pain. True strength isn't found in controlling the dangerous woman. It's found in integrating the dangerous energies within yourself. When you successfully integrate your shadow, you don't become bad, you become whole. You gain access to your passion and vitality consciously. When you integrate your anima, you don't become weak, you become wise. You access your intuition, creativity, and capacity for deep, meaningful connection. You no longer need a woman to carry your soul for you, because you're finally carrying it yourself.
In the end, the captivating allure of the femme fatale is like a sacred wound. It's the place where the light gets in. She appears in your life as a question, and the answer is found not in her, but in yourself. She is the beautiful, dangerous messenger from your own depths, and her message is always the same: become whole. Carl Jung quote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This fascination isn't a path to ruin, it's a map leading away from conformity and toward authentic selfhood. The journey requires confronting darkness, both hers and, more importantly, your own. But it's the only journey that leads to true, integrated strength. The bad woman fascinates men because she holds up a mirror to their unlived potential. The wise man doesn't try to shatter the mirror. He dares to look into it. If this psychological journey resonated with you, hit subscribe for more explorations into the hidden depths of human nature, psychology, and self-discovery. And here's a question that might change everything. What quality that you find dangerously attractive in others might actually be a hidden part of yourself waiting to be discovered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's explore this together.